Come on and take a walk with us as we go on this culinary adventure where you will experience the soul, love, and knowledge of Chef Tye and some of her special guests. And together we'll find out what's at the bottom of the pot.
Welcome back to From the Bottom of the Pot. And today, in this kitchen, we are going to India. This is my best friend and sister Sal. This is her wonderful mother and now my mom Gigi. And together, we are going to cook up some amazing traditional Indian dishes. When I tell you guys of my love for India and how I got into the food, partly is because of just this family and everything about their dishes, from anything from samosas to lemon rice, depending on where you're from in India will depend on the style or type of cuisine you have. So today we are in, what part of India?
South India.
So if that's the case, then that means we're going to have some really good biryani rice. And Ma's going to show us how to make that biryani rice, right? And then once she finishes, my sis over here is going to teach us how to make some
Chana masala.
There we go. And that last dish that's going to bring it all the way home for us is going to be some stuffed puffs, right? And in those you can put anything. But today we're doing potatoes, peas, a little bit of onion for flavor, and it's going to be delicious. So stay tuned.
I'm going to start with a little bit of avocado oil to go with it so I can saute the onions. So that's what I'm doing here, about 2 to 3 or 4 teaspoons of it. And then we'll drop in the onions. We'll do a quick saute on that. If we add some salt, probably it'll let out some moisture. So.
Is there anything I can do to help, Mom?
Yeah, maybe we can add some turmeric to that, and also some Kashmiri red chili that I have over there.
Yes,
it's right next to that. So you may just want a
so
teaspoon of this and teaspoon of that.
So you guys, if you have ever been in a home, you'll notice that they keep all of their spices in unmarked glass jars for the most part, or something that can, 1 or 2?
1 is enough.
1 is enough?
Yeah.
This way, it's airtight and it locks them, but it doesn't necessarily have to come in what we're used to, because most times it's freshly ground at the store.
Correct.
This is a spicy chili.
And it also adds color to any dish that you add. So yeah, that's the specialty of Kashmiri chili.
So how many?
Just 1, please.
1? Yes, ma'am. Got enough?
Yes.
Okay. This is spicy. This is called Kashmiri chili. So because of it, you'll get the spice and also the color.
And while that is going, we can add some peas to this, green peas. This is frozen green peas. I mean, I think that's more than enough. doesn't have to be fresh.
It's about a quarter cup of peas that went in.
Yes. So once the onion starts slightly sauteed, and we can add the potatoes because the potatoes are already cooked and it's mashed. So, and the rest of it will automatically cook inside the puff, so we don't have to wait till it's completely cooked.
Okay. Yeah. So what we have right here, now we have translucent onions, we have peas and potatoes, and this is going to be the base for our stuffed puff. So each region of India has a different way of stuffing their pastries, and for this particular one, this is what we're going with: potatoes, peas, and onions.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, now you can turn off the stove, and what I did.
Oh, I thought you made it.
And what you're going to do is just open the puffs up and just put in the vegetables. Sorry.
I'll get this off. Oh, perfect. Ooh, that looks good.
This. Okay. What I'm actually doing is I'm taking the puff pastry stuffing out, and then you can put it in the middle of the puff pastry. You can spread it out and then put it in the middle and kind of roll it one on top of the other, and need to cut this into 4 or 5 pieces depending on the size that you prefer to eat. So this one I just made it into 5 pieces, and this needs to go into the oven for 350 degrees for about 50 minutes, and you can turn it in between, and so both sides can cook, and after that you have a wonderful puff to taste. Amy?
So right now we're getting ready to learn how to make chana masala, and the first step that we're going to go through is what?
Adding the oil.
Okay.
So
So
you're
how
gonna
much oil?
About 2, maybe 3 teaspoons, depending on how much you think you need.
And what kind of oil are we using?
So right now I'm using avocado oil, so that just makes it a little bit easier and just a healthier fat if you need to.
Gotcha.
Okay. Avocado oil, coconut oil both work. And then so once that's heated up, check and see if we got enough heat there. Once we do, first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna add the onions.
Okay.
Let those go. And I'm just gonna caramelize those nicely. It takes about what, 3
to 4 minutes.
roughly.
So what happens is when you're doing your onions and you put them into hot grease, it takes anywhere from 3 to 4 minutes for them to become translucent, which is the exact way you want them to be when you're going into your next process.
So into the onions, I'm gonna add some salt.
What kind of salt are we using?
I'm using Himalayan salt.
Himalayan pink salt?
Himalayan pink salt.
Okay.
Sea salt, I actually started using that just because it's actually a lot healthier than a lot of the salts that people are using nowadays, especially like we use iodized. I think we all grew up with.
We did, but we
Those-
all got away
yeah,
from it.
lot.
If you have iodinized salt, please don't use that.
Yeah,
Please don't.
it actually does a lot worse to the body. So sticking to something like a Himalayan salt, you can use black salt if you can find it.
So that is Hawaiian black lava salt is what she's referring to.
Right. Add some turmeric.
Okay, about how much turmeric are we adding?
So we literally have like a little baby teaspoon, like little baby spoons that you feed with. About 2 of those.
Two
Drop
of
that
those.
in.
So that would be equivalent to 1 actual teaspoon according to our measurement.
Okay.
Okay.
Mixing that in. And the last thing I'm gonna add in is actual chana masala. So the chana masala is actually a spice blend that we've already mixed together, and it actually makes it a lot easier, especially when you're in the store and you're looking for it. Back in the day, everyone used to start with the mortar and pestle and start the spices from scratch. Nowadays, and actually even in India across the board, everyone's using blended spices, which is actually phenomenal. So it works really well. About 2 teaspoons of chana masala.
Okay. So now when she says masala, it basically means warm spice. So that could be anything from coriander to cumin, a little bit of turmeric, and then you have a couple other little spices that'll go in there. And like she said before, they used to be ground mortar and pestle style, but now everything comes pre-mixed, so it's really easy. If you do not see it in your regular store, you can go to your international market and you'll find it.
And I will say, just because it's pre-mixed, it still maintains every bit of flavor.
Gotcha.
Everyone's using it, so as authentic as you want it, you're still going to get the same thing. Perfect. Okay. So we're going to let that go. I'm going to add the tomatoes. So all we did was just dice up some tomatoes, drop those in, let them kind of cook down, because you'll add a little bit of that tomato juice in there. Let that go. Mix all that into that. And now I'm going to add in, so what I'm using is 2 cans of drained chickpeas that are, take the juice out, take the liquid out.
So now if I don't have drained chickpeas, can I use
Kidney beans?
Can I use regular chickpeas but just soak them
You're going to have to soak them overnight.
Okay, so that way if you have like that weird bag of beans left over in the cabinet and you don't know what to do with it, you soak it for at least 24 hours. A rule of thumb is to add at least a tablespoon of baking soda to it, so therefore you get all of the gases out of it and you don't become musical when you eat them. And then if you do have them, you're going to take 2 cans and you're going to rinse them, because you don't need the added salt that they were sitting in
And the preservatives of it.
and the preservatives for the dish.
Yeah. So all we're going to do, we're going to cover it and let that go. Mix it around, let that go.
About how long?
About 10 minutes. Because what you want to do is get those spices, all that spice blend, you want them to cook down so you don't have that rawness that you have when you cook spices. Let them cook down. You're going to check it and actually make sure when you add a little bit of water to that on top of that, once you put the chickpeas in, you're going to take a little bit of water just to cover the chickpeas. So if you have like an even layer between the tomato, the onion, and the chickpeas, let them cook down
So we're
to where they soften.
We're going to guesstimate that we're using about a half a cup of water. That way you kind of
Start with a half a cup.
Start with
enough
a
to
half a cup?
cover the cover the chickpeas.
Okay.
Start there.
You see this? This is how
It makes it
you
easy.
calling yourself. Hold on. You call yourself the chef, right? And then your girl check you real fast. Like, no, that's not how we doing it. And I love her for it, because this way you know that everything that we're doing is authentic. Now, if you don't mind, tell me a little bit about this dish and why it resonates with you. Like, why is this your go-to dish?
I have a few, but this is one. I've had this since I was a child. Like chana
does it
masala
mean
is
to
one
you?
of those. Is the blend of the spices in chana masala has every ounce of India in it. Like you can smell it when you walk into the house. You know that someone is cooking.
Gotcha.
Some chickpeas, or they're cooking, 1 or 2 dishes. There's about 3 dishes in India that really kind of hit the whole house when you cook them, and this is one of those. This is one of those.
So this right here, when I first came over to her house, this is one of the dishes that she introduced me to. This is kind of like our go-to dish. And when I call her my sister, like I promise you, we met each other about 4 years ago around Thanksgiving, and we were cutting potatoes. Like neither one of us wants to ever see an actual potato again.
Or a potato peeler.
Yeah, that. It was like,
I mean, it was a good event.
40
We cooked
pounds.
for 40 pounds.
40 pounds of potatoes.
We cooked for the homeless in DC.
And with that, we hugged each other, we embraced each other. And then from that day to this one, we have been sisters ever since. So my love grew even more when it came to Indian food, because I understood the love that she put into the food that she was actually serving and giving me when I was around. Love you.
Love you too.
Thank you.
Of course it. Okay.
So, Gigi, what are we making today?
We're making a 1-part vegetarian biryani.
Okay, so now, guys, I have to tell you, biryani rice is like my go-to rice. When I go to an Indian restaurant, if I decide to go to one, I always get biryani rice. The trick was me learning how to cook it. So I am so glad that she agreed to show me exactly what I need to do to make it authentically and to make it in my own home. So from here on out, you're going to listen to everything she has to say, and we're going to each be able to make a wonderful biryani at the end of this episode. Go for it, Gigi.
Okay, to start with, we put a couple of tablespoons of ghee, which is clarified butter.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, And then after that, we add spices like poppy seeds. This is poppy seeds, and a teaspoon of that, and cardamom, about 3 or 4 of them, and cinnamon, 1 stick, and cloves, about 4 or 5 cloves, and a bay leaves. Bay leaves is like 2 or 3 of them that you can add to that. And you just make sure that you mix everything together so it's just the flavor to come out.
Okay.
And then once you do that, then you can go ahead and throw in the onions and mix it with the spices.
So for this dish, we decided to go with red onions because it's more traditional to use red onions than it is to use yellow or white onions.
Because red onions usually have the little bit of heat rather than the other one, because that's a little bit more sugary.
Right.
So we add we want the heat. So that's why we added the red onions to that.
Gotcha.
And after that, then you throw in the vegetables. The vegetables that we added was carrots, peas, beans, cauliflower. And you can add, if you want potatoes, you can do that. And if you want beetroots, any vegetable of your choice that you want to use, you can do that.
Okay.
So that we added carrots, peas, potatoes, cauliflower and green beans. So that's what we added.
All right.
And then mix everything together, so make sure that all the flavor get into the vegetables also. So you do that, and then after that you can add 1 cup of yogurt.
Okay.
So it can be homemade yogurt or non-fat yogurt, whatever you have at home. You can just use that and mix everything together.
Did you hear her say homemade yogurt? So does that mean we're gonna have to do another episode and learn how to make us some homemade yogurt? I'm just saying, put that feather in your cap. We may be coming back here just to visit for homemade yogurt. What else?
And you can add turmeric after that.
Okay.
And Kashmir chili powder and a little bit of cumin. And what we added today was this biryani masala. So Bombay biryani masala, I added 2 tablespoons of this with the vegetables and everything, and mixed everything together so they all blend in and all the taste gets into all the vegetables.
Okay.
And that's what I did. And after that, I added 2 cups of basmati rice.
Okay.
So, and on top of that, I added some salt and a saffron, which I had already infused in water.
Okay.
So you can add the saffron after that over the rice. And then I have the dried onions here.
Okay.
So you can have 2 handfuls of those and then add it to the rice.
And then we put the lid on it?
And then put the lid on it and let it cook and give it about 10 minutes.
Okay.
And you should have a wonderful biryani rice.
Now I have one question for you.
Yes.
When we start this off, are we bringing it to a boil first and then reducing it down to a simmer, or do we keep it at one level the whole time?
No, actually, it was in high when it started boiling. I simmered the stove down.
Okay.
So otherwise, the water will run out, and then the vegetables will still not be fully cooked. So and the rice. So I don't want that to happen. So I simmered the stove down. So leave it at that, keep it closed, and it'll be cooked in 10 minutes, and you'll have everything cooked, and it'll be a great biryani rice.
So now I have one question.
Yes.
Was it your mother or your father who taught you how to make this biryani rice?
No, it was actually my grandmother did this,
Okay.
and I learned it from her. And then to modernize the whole thing, I added my own flavors, and
That's what we do.
Yeah.
Like we learn
So,
how to cook from our
yeah.
grandparents, and then we put a little bit of us into it, and then from there we pass those traditions down. But I am just so honored and thankful that you took me in and looked at me as a daughter, and then you would even share this recipe so that I am now able to share it with everyone else.
Thank you very much. You're like my daughter. So, of course, I will definitely share any recipe that you want with me, and, be happy to show you.
And what she's not going to do is have me cry. But I just want you to understand that just like this dish right here, and every episode that I'll ever show you, everything starts at the bottom of the pot. So, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and let this cook. we're going to come back and show you a finished dish. But just know that all good things come at the bottom of the pot. Thank you guys for tuning in with me and taking that wonderful tour of India with me and my adopted family. So what I want you to do is stay tuned and let's see where we'll go next.
So see you on the other side of the pot.
And action.
Hey, so we are here at the bottom of the pot, right?
Cut.
Welcome back to I gotta give you that. We'll see you
at the
on the side of the pot.
And action.
So, thank you guys for tuning in and going on that tour of India with me. I don't know where we'll go next. So, if you want to find out, then I need you to tune in to the next episode. See you on the other side of the pot.